Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Step Media AU. This playlist is dedicated to AI and education. In the first series, I will focus on the AI and early childhood education and care. Most probably, this will have 10 different parts. In the second, we will move from early childhood to primary school, and then we will follow the high school and finally the tertiary education. Only this first one has the 10 parts. The topics covered includes AI and child, which will be today's topic, followed by AI and empathy gaps, then the digital nanny effects. Number 4 will be the dark side of personal learning, followed by age appropriate AI use guidelines, and uh, which will be followed by AI and autism. How AI may stunt imagination will be the next, followed by AI, children, and control on a logarithm. Finally, second last is comparative study of Finland, China, and USA kindergartens. And in the end, we'll talk about AI and parental pushback. So, why AI should be limited? Because of the five senses. That's how the little child learns or its brains develop. So, fact is that a child learns more from squishing mud than swiping a screen. But the statistics says 75% of preschoolers exceed recommended screen time guidelines, according to AAP study 2023. Deprivation of sensory learning isn't just a preference, it's a failure to develop the brain's innate optimized biological hardware. Today, we are tackling a big question. In a world of smart apps and AI tutors, what can a simple mud puddle offer that a screen cannot? The answer lies in our biology. A child's brain is wired to learn through the body, through touch, taste, smell, sound, and sight in the real world. And while AI is powerful, it has fundamental limits in replicating this profound sensory rich learning. So, what happens if we deprive a child of this sensory rich embodied learning? The consequences are profound. We risk creating what neuroscientists call a sensory starved brain. This isn't just about missing out on fun, it's about stunting the very architecture of the cognition without robust sensory experiences. Neural pathways don't form with the same complexity. The brain prunes away what is what it doesn't use. Connections dedicated to processing texture, temperature, and nuanced smells may fail to develop strongly. It can lead to a rise in sensory processing disorders. We are already seeing more children in occupational therapy for an inability to tolerate messy hands, loud noises, or certain textures, directly linked to reduced tactile exposure, according to CDC 2023. Its impacts higher order thinking, the foundation for abstract thought, problem solving, and creativity is built upon a base of concrete physical experiences. You cannot truly understand the concept of heavy or smooth or fragrant without having lifted, touched, and smelled it. And here's the crucial irony that a groundbreaking study from Cornell highlights in April 2025. Researchers are trying to build better AI by copying the human brain's sensory system. They note that the brain performs amazing feats of cognition by efficiently organizing a barrage of sensory information from the real world. Their, their goal is to create low energy AI that can process smell and other senses as well as a brain does. Think about that. We are using our most advanced science to try and replicate the very biology or biological processes that we are potentially short circuiting in our children by replacing real world play with a flat screen simulation. While AI is powerful, it has fundamental limits in replicating this profound sensory rich learning. We must protect the very human experience that the most advanced AI is desperately trying to mimic. The science of embodied cognition. Learning is physical, cognition isn't just in the head, it's shaped by the body's interaction with the world. Motor skills leads to the brain skills, bodily growth, and new motor skills drive cognitive development. A child who needs a door are building the neural architecture for, for problem solving. The gesture link, every observing gestures activates the brain's mirror neuron system, priming it for learning. This isn't just an opinion, it's a field of science called embodied cognition. It tells us that thinking is not a disembodied process. When a child run their finger over tree bark, they aren't just learning rough. Their brain is forming connection between the touch, sight, and the very concept of texture. This is why a 2024 study found that motor skills are directly linked to the preschooler's ability to understand and tell stories. Their bodily experiences become the foundation for abstract thoughts. Digital tech can offer opportunities, but only if it engages the body and senses meaningfully, not as a passive swipe. How the brain builds itself, the science of sensory learning, building brains, not just knowledge. Tactile play activates the semots, sematosensory cortex twice more than the digital game, two times more. Kneading dough isn't just fun, it's a full body workout that builds fine motor skills, core strengths, hand eye coordination, and sensory alignments. Let's get a little scientific here. When a child needs dough, they aren't just making a snack, they are forging neural connections. This 2023 study shows that the hands on play lights up the brain's sensory processing center twice as much as the screen. Think about it. Adjusting their posture, feeling the dough stick to their fingers, smelling the yeast. This is multidimensional learning. It's the difference between reading about gravity and feeling it when when your tower of blocks fall. This struggle, this physical feedback is what builds resilience and deep understanding. The AI gap, what screens cannot simulate: the taste, the texture, the temperature, and the social touch. So, where does AI fall short? Right here. An app can show a picture of a lemon and label it so, but it cannot create the visceral, unforgettable experience of biting into one lemon. A 2022 study found kids who taste real food are 40% more likely to remember the vocabulary. AI can provide information, but it cannot provide experience. It cannot replicate the pride in a child's eye when they offer you a cookie they baked themselves. This is flat learning versus rich learning. This is exactly why a groundbreaking new framework from Professor Caroline Rowland argues that toddlers still beat AI at learning language. She explains that unlike AI, which learns passively from massive data sets of text, children use an active developmental process driven by their growing social, cognitive, and motor skills. They use all their senses to make sense of the world. As Professor Rowland says, AI researchers could learn a lot from babies. Machines process data, whereas humans live experiences. The real world impact: grit, creativity, and personality. Reduced patience. Kids used to instant AI feedback quit challenges task 30% faster. Weaker creativity, play become literal, not inventive. And sensory sensitivities, rising OT refers for kids who cannot tolerate mess or loud noises. The consequences aren't just physical, it's about shaping how a child approaches the world. A University of Michigan study found that children using AI apps give up on difficult puzzles much faster than those using physical blocks. Why? Because the app corrects them instantly. They never learn the value of struggle. This can shape a more risk averse, less persistent personality devoid of grit. Teachers report that kids who are heavy screen users often struggle with imaginative play. Their play mimics what they have seen rather than creating something new. Case studies, evidence from proven approaches. While rough tech-free preschools show high creativity, that's a New York University study. Montessori hands-on learning leads to 20% higher spatial reasoning, according to Science Direct 2021. And another suggests, Amelia, sensory rich environments boost language development, according to Harvard Ed Review 2020. This isn't just theory, it's proven. Educational models have always known this. Montessori's physical material lead to better spatial reasoning. Reggio, Reggio Emilia's use of natural elements like leaves and clay built advanced vocabulary as children describe what they feel and they see. The common thread: process over product. The value is in the act of doing, even especially if you fail. The lopsided tower teaches more physical than a perfect digital simulation ever could. Balancing tech and touch, a practical guide. The 10-30 ratio. For every 10 minutes of screen time, aim for 30 minutes of sensory play. Origin, based on AAP guidelines and UCLA studies showing better focus with this balance. So, do we throw out the tablets? Not necessarily. The key is intentional balance. Think of 30-10-30 ratio, a recognized widespread guidelines. For every 10 minutes on screen, follow it with 30 minutes of real world play. Finished an AR app about the solar system? Great. Now go outside and build planets out of the clay. This is what organizations, including World Health Organization and American Academy of Pediatrics, recommend. That's AAP recommends limiting screen time for children, especially younger ones, to protect their developmental health. This concept, sometimes called digital restitution, ensures the screen is a spark for curiosity, not a replacement for it. It turns passive consumption into active exploration. So, from theory to practice, sensory scavenger hunt. So, an activity as simple as something bumpy like pine cone, soft like cotton, or prickly like Velcro. Search. Use a blindfold to even heighten touch and hearing senses of a child. Here's a simple, powerful activity: the texture scavenger hunt. It's not just a game, it's a language and cognitive workout. Finding something bumpy teaches comparison and vocabulary. Take it further by blindfolding your child. This forces them to rely on touch and sound, sharpening those senses. A sensory scavenger hunt can involve a list of things for children to find using their senses, such as collecting a smooth rock, crunchy leaf, or something that smells like pine. This activity benefits children by developing their sensory awareness, enhancing observation skills, supporting brain development, memory, and improving fine and gross motor skills through hands on exploration. It also promotes creativity, problem solving, and emotional regulation, helping children to calm down and be present in the moment, especially when feeling stressed. A 2021 study found this kind of activity improves descriptive languages by 35% compared to digital games. It's about being intentional with the time we have. This study actually also impacts the primary school, which we will cover later, and see how it unwind the problems and issues at the primary level. So for now, let's continue. The hidden cost, the ethical imperative, why this matter beyond development. Data exploitation. 60% of edtech apps sell children behavioral data. Sensory neglect. Apps are designed for engagement, not development. AI often lacks diverse, nature based sensory experience. So, are these apps trying to addict or hook children without developing their senses or the personality overall? Finally, we have to talk about ethics. This isn't just about learning style, it's about protecting childhood. A 2023 investigation found that 60% of edtech apps sell our children data. Their intention is the product. These apps are designed to be addictive, not developmental. Furthermore, the content is often biased, reflecting a narrow view of the world. A child might see a simulation of a snow, but never a monsoon. Our choices aren't just about minutes on a screen, they are about what we value and what we allow to shape our children's mind and hearts. So, what's the message? Let's use AI as a tool, not a replacement for rich sensory world. Let's reflect back to that mud puddle. The choice isn't between technology and no technology. It's between passive consumption and active experience. It's about recognizing that AI is a powerful tool, but human development is a sensory, social, and deeply physical process. Let's choose to give children the rich, messy struggle filled and joyful experiences that build not just smarter kids, but more resilient, creative, and whole human being. Thank you for exploring AI in early childhood education with us. Till we meet again for the next episode, you look after yourself, stay healthy, and be happy. Bye bye for now.